Screencast 27. AX2009 in parameters. So previously we constructed this report that showed you how to enter an enum name. And the report will show you all the values in the enum. This is not a typical thing you do to show the values of an enum. Most reports wouldn't do that. But there was a reason I did this for you. The reason we spent so much time showing you how to create a data method that found the AX session and then got the enum data and created a data table and sent it back as a data set. Because really the thing I was wanting to do was show you ultimately how do you put an enum as a parameter. And in order to do that, you have to be able to create a data set. I'll show you this now. Let me close this existing report. And we'll create a new report. And we'll call it demo AX2009 as parameter. So let's get a data set. And we'll need a data method for this because we want an enum. I'll rename it like always. Get enum data. Make it a system.data table. And I know I want ledger posting type, so I'll use my sample code report library and I'll do ledger posting type again. Build that just to make sure nothing is odd. There are two errors. We'll fix them one by one. Oh, I forgot to return this value. That's the first error. There we go. Now let's create the data set. And this time we'll call it ledger posting type. Types. And in fact, I will change this get enum data to be something less generic. Get ledger posting type enum. Now, we want to guarantee this data set's working. So we want to bind this data set to the data method. They're the fields, and let's drag it in here in designs. Let's just make sure it's working. Preview. Okay, the data's there. Perfect. Let's set our layout and style templates. Yeah, there we go. Preview. And okay, we're back to our previous report. Now we want to show a parameter which has the ledger posting types. And let's add it. Ledger posting type. And now, how do we get all those values? Now, the naive answer would be, hey, let's make this true and add a bunch of comma separated values in this field, which would be the manual way to do it, right? And that's called a non-queried parameter. But in this case, what we want to do is actually build it from a data set. So we'll do from data set, and there's this data set, ledger posting types. And what's the value is going to be the int value, which is the underlying value that the report will see. And the label will be we'll use label. Okay. Now let's preview the report and see what happens. Now, you see this error says type mismatch. One or more available values are not compliant with the parameter data type. What does that mean? That's kind of a mystery, right? Not very clear. The reason is very simple. The parameter is specified as a string, and yet the value here, when we selected values, I selected int value, which is an int. So I didn't match this field here very carefully with the parameter. So that means I'm going to have to pick, and remember, I'm going to have to type system.int32 here. Oops, I typed in an apostrophe accidentally. Let's build a solution. And preview. There you go. Now look at this. I get all the ledger posting types. Let's go ahead and select, this blank value. That was the none value, by the way. Right? You can see 0 comes back, which that is what none is. If I select exchange rate profit, you can see here 1 comes back, which is correct. Right? Exchange rate profit. So to review what we've done here, when you want an enum in a report, you're going to have to create a data set. And the data set is going to have to come from a data method. And you'll have to match, when you add the parameter, you're going to have to go to the values field and put that data set there. And then the value field will be the integer value. And the label field will be, conveniently this is called label, but the point is it should be whatever the human being who's going to see the report will see. Right? Not the symbol, but whatever the localized value is. Okay, and that is, in short, how to get an enum to show up as a parameter. What if, though, one final thing, what if you wanted to allow someone to select more than one? Well, you'll change this multi-value field to true. And if you do that, in preview, you'll see, oops, let me go back here. Is missing a value. So I'll do the default value of, gosh, what is the default value here? I'll go again from a data set actually and go back to the int field. That was on the default value field. And now let's try the report. Right? And you can see all of them are selected. And for some reason this is complaining that ledger posting parameter is still missing a value, which is a bit odd since all are selected. That may be the reason I didn't have the select all button there. Right? And now let's try selecting just the blank, which is none. Right? 0, we expected that. How about just these 3? Okay. We can see the 3 here. Okay, and so now you've seen the entire gamut of what we need to do here. We can select a data set from an enum, show it as a parameter, support selecting more than one parameters, and if you're curious, you see this this select all was when I chose the multi-value property. Maybe you do or don't want the none, and in that case, what we should really do is create or modify our data method so that it filters out these none values, right? Also, if we want, we could even create values on our own, special values like a special all value if we wanted to. So it's something to keep in mind when you're doing this. Okay, so that's it for screencast 27.